Hey guys, welcome back to Enduro Evolution. In this video I'll be installing Racetech gold valves on my 2019 KTM 300 XCW. Alright, take your blue cap wrench and remove your cap. If you watch the rebound video, you'll hear that I mentioned a trick. To pull down your spring so you don't wreck your fingers, grab a long piece of mechanics wire and tie the end to the spring, make a big loop, put your foot in the loop and step down as you pull up on the cap. It's important that you remove the cap from the lock nut by the preload adjuster, and not with the blue cap wrench. You can wreck internals if you don't. Remove and clean the spring and then dump out your old oil. Remove the aluminum tube, clean it up, and set it aside. Next, remove the outer fork seal. Next, remove the fork slider guard. I use a heat gun to soften up the plastic. Get ready to remove the base valve with your 17mm hex bit. So this is what your oil will look like if it's contaminated with water. Take your old base valve and clean it and store it in a plastic Ziploc. With a small flat blade screwdriver, remove the snap ring. Use a heat gun or a gas torch to warm up the aluminum. The heat will expand the aluminum tube and make it easier to remove the lower fork tube. Give it a good pull and everything should come apart. Clean everything up and get it ready for reassembly. So this is your stock compression valve. Use a heat gun to melt the existing thread lock. Do not go over 350 degrees. Here's a pro tip. Screw the base valve into the tube before clamping it to the vise. You don't want to warp the end of the tube. Clean off all the old remaining thread lock with a wire brush. Use high strength Loctite and install the new seal head. This is what I'm talking about by screwing in the base valve. Make sure the seal head is tight. check. Use a heat gun to warm up the thread lock. Be careful not to melt that plastic part while heating it up with the heat gun. Alright, take a pick or a thread chaser and clean out your threads. Reinstall the spring and install the new rebound holder, rebound needle, and adjuster spring. Use high strength Loctite on the rebound holder thread. Make sure the O-ring is on the rebound holder. So next, install the spring that Racetech provides. Drop on your single stage or two-stage rebound, followed by the gold valve with the rebound ports facing down. Then drop on your single stage or two-stage mid-valve shim. The DVS will determine if a single stage or a two-stage shim stack is needed. The difference between a single stage and a two-stage stack is the crossover shim. The crossover is a smaller diameter shim that splits the high-speed and low-speed stacks. So to keep this video short, I explain more on the rebound video about how all this works. So if you haven't already checked it out, check out that video. You won't need to use thread lock if you're using a nylon nut. It's a good idea to go through everything and just make sure everything is in its right spot. Make sure the largest shims cover the holes. Check your DVS to see if your gold valve needs a bleed hole, and if so, check out our rebound video to see how that is done. So first remove your outer bushing, followed by your inner bushing, then retaining washer and inner seal. Then snap ring and outer seal. Give everything a final clean and then install your base valve. Don't use Loctite on the base valve. Screw it in and tighten it up and then torque it to 25 foot-pounds. Grab the other half of the fork tube and slide everything in. Get it tight with your fingers and then use a seal driver to seat the inner seal. Give it a few good taps and you'll hear it turn from a low pitched thud to a higher pitched thud. You'll also feel it seat. Install the snap ring and be sure it's seated. Slide up your seal and lock it in place. You can use your seal driver for this as well. Dump in the oil until you can see it. Cycle the shaft inside to remove any air bubbles. Take your time and make sure you get all the air bubbles. Once that's done, get your Motion Pro fork oil level gauge and set it to 110 millimeters. Start removing the fluid. Keep sucking the oil out until there appears to be no more coming through the line. Install your spring and cap. Screw the cap all the way down until it lightly bottoms out on the aluminum tube, and then bring the lock nut up to the cap and lock it in place. Use your preload wrench and your 24mm to tighten them together. Lower it in and screw everything together. Tighten with the Motion Pro cap wrench. It's important to note that the compression adjuster on the fork cap, which is now rebound, has reverse threads. So this means maximum rebound dampening is fully counterclockwise on this leg only. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up the gold valve installation for the compression side. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. We will have more tech videos like this on the way. Guys, this stuff isn't hard. Just remember, you can do anything. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.